What's up, Capsters? What's going on? My name's Cap, and this is some Rocket League. It's my very first ever gameplay on this game ever. Playing it on PlayStation 4, and I know I messed up the sound there, right? I'm stupid when I was getting the Elgato hooked up right, and it didn't capture the game sound, so I might put some music in there. But I thought I would do kind of a personal video here, and instead of just doing a vlog where you're staring at my ugly mug, I thought I would at least put something in here. Like I said, first gameplay, I thought it was kind of interesting. I did okay for my very first one. Forgive me if I'm not an expert. But anyway, I thought I would do kind of a personal video. You know, maybe you guys get to know me a little bit better or something. I don't know. But anyway, today, September 18th, marks little man Brett, his 7th birthday. And that's what I wanted to talk about, was being a dad. Now, for starters, I grew up without a dad. When I was 4, my dad dropped me and my brother off at my mom's doorstep and hit the road. He was the classic deadbeat dad. He disappeared for like 5 years, didn't know where he was. He was off and on again in my life until I was a teenager. And this Thanksgiving will mark, was it 19 years since the last time I talked to him? So it's been a while, but I think I've turned out okay for not having any kind of father figure in my life. My mom did an excellent job, you know, props to her. But anyway, that's not what this is about. I love being a dad. That's probably one of my greatest accomplishments in life, is becoming a dad. And I was telling little man tonight, I was tucking him in, reading him a story and stuff. I was like, you know, 7 years ago, right now, me and mommy were at the hospital waiting for you to get here. You know, he's 7, so he doesn't quite understand the concept of it yet. He has some basic knowledge of he was in the tummy and then he wasn't. He doesn't know the delivery process. He'll get there eventually, but... And so I was just telling him all this other stuff, and like he was all slimy and stuff when he came out, like when a newborn snake is born, and because he's really into snakes, and so he understood that. And he was just laughing, and he was like, "Why do you remember all this so much? I mean, how do you remember everything about that?" I was like, "Well, buddy," I said, "you have to remember," I said, that was one of the best days of my life." And he just kind of smiled, which, you know, I'm happy he smiled, because that's a big thing for me to say that. I mean, him coming into my life is probably one of the better things that has ever happened. I think it's made me into a better person. And a few of you people that have been with me for a long time, you've probably heard him on some of the videos, and you've seen him do some stuff with me before. And, you know, the first time I started uploading, he wasn't even 2 yet, and so he was still kind of babyish when he would talk in the backgrounds, and it was really cute. But now he's 7. I mean, he's a little guy. He's got his personality, he's got his wants and dislikes, and he is who he is, and it's so cool seeing him grow up. And, you know, it just makes me think of, like, God, my dad missed out on so much, and I can't even imagine missing out on him, and like watching him learn how to read over this last year. And now he sits down with me, reads a book, and he can read it. I mean, he can like read really good. He's in 1st grade and stuff, so of course he can read, but he's doing excellent. I'm so proud of him, and it's just, it's like he's constantly having these milestones that just makes me beam with pride and happiness and joy, and, you know, all the stuff that a dad should have. And I know there's a lot of people out there, pardon me, there's a lot of people out there that have the same kind of situation where you didn't have a dad, or maybe vice versa, you didn't have a mom. You know, not all bad dad or bad parents and stuff are dads. There's some bad moms out there. So you grew up with just the one, and the other one had to fill in, and so you miss out on having that 2 back and forth there. And so you know, that's one thing I always wanted to make sure I had right with Brett, was that he had an actual dad. And the older he gets, the more I realize how much pressure there is as a parent to prepare him to be a human. It's crazy. You know, you think about, oh, the things I got to teach my kid: to walk and talk and eat and use the bathroom, and, you know, basic understanding as a human. I'm like, no, as a dad, I've got to teach him so much about being a person, about having a personality, and having respect for himself and having respect for other people. And, you know, please and thank you is becoming a popular thing, so that it's natural. And in this world where it's so weird to be polite to people, and it's like, oh, I can't believe you held the door for this lady, what is this, you know, disempowering her? I'm like, no, I grew up in Texas, in the South. We hold the doors for women, we pull out chairs, we say please and thank you, and yes ma'am and no ma'am, and to see he's becoming that kind of person, and it's just a lot of pressure as a dad. And I know my fellow dads out there will think about that, and it's really not something you start thinking about when they're babies or when they're little bitty, because you're just trying to think, you know, teach them basic life skills. But I'm like, he can eat by himself, he can dress himself, he can bathe himself, he does his homework, he can play games, he's self-sufficient in so many different ways, that now it's like, Okay, now comes the life lessons. And at times it's really daunting, but for anybody out there who's watching who's a new dad, or you're a few years off from or whatever, being a father figure in your child's life, whether it's a daughter or a son, is incredibly important. I mean, it's important to have both roles there, but I'm just speaking from my perspective, of course. So take it seriously, and just know that just being a dad is not about saying it's like, oh, I got a kid. And it's something that pisses me off is when I hear somebody saying something like, I'll overhear in a store or whatever, like, nah, sorry, I can't do that this weekend, I got to babysit my kid. I'm like, you're not babysitting your damn kid. He's your child. You should be happy you're getting to spend time with him at all. You're not babysitting him. You're raising him. That's what a dad is. It just pisses me off when I hear that, because it makes it sound like they're a burden. I'm like, you may not have made the conscious decision to have that child, but at least you were a part of it. And by God, you better step up to the plate, man. I think situations around the entire world would be a lot better if parents took better interest in their child. But no, there's too many people out there that are just, they'll let video games, or people, even like commentators, they're just like, oh, okay, I just park my child in front of the computer and he watches YouTube video all day, or play games all day. He doesn't spend any time with them. And that's crazy. And, I try not to judge people because I don't know their situations, but it drives me nuts when I see all these people that just completely ignore their kids all the time. And they come out there and like, oh yeah, I'm really happy they have a sister so they have somebody to play with. And I'm like, what about you? I mean, I'm my buddy's best friend. Ask him who his number one person friend in the whole world, and he'll say my daddy. And that's because I play with him. But I don't let him get away with stuff. He knows I'll jump on his ass if he starts acting up and doing what he's not supposed to. And that's what a dad's supposed to do. But we have fun. We laugh. We play. I teach him things. I'm a part of his life, and I love that. And I wish so many other dads would. If you're going to take the time to become a dad, you need to act like it. To paraphrase a quote or whatever, like, any man with a dick can become a father. It takes a real man to be a dad. And just showing up isn't being a dad. Anybody can do that. It's taking the time to sit down and talk to them, get to know them, teach them who they are, because it's your responsibility to make sure they become somebody that you want them to be. Just be a dad. Be a cool person that they look up to. You should be their hero, because everything you do, they're watching. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed my little rant. It's a little bit of a long video, but I thought it was something fun I wanted to talk about. So you guys have a good one, and I will catch you later.